we're discussing the.
Well, that was just one of the.
Well, and that's one of the questions, is because
question.
I see something like that written down, and I don't know. It says workshop. I mean, for custom production of goods to be sold only on the premises, and I don't know where dispensing marijuana fits in that, if it fits there or not.
And I see the second application coming on board,
yeah.
and that was, if I understood the presentation correctly, that was going to be a wholesaler, not a retailer.
Really?
Yeah. I believe that's what
Yes.
I didn't.
They're not going to retail on the site. They're not going to sell.
They're not going to sell on.
site.
They're not going to sell on site.
Just
That's
a
correct.
production facility.
They're a
It's
wholesale.
just agriculture.
And not
Yes.
where they. There
It's
was
on
no.
Willow Road. Actually, that's at a 31 Willow Road. That's a site that we approved a site plan for.
Yeah.
An expansion. It would be that same building.
Got it.
Now, lights are on.
not
They're live.
Mecca, whatever the company is over
What's
there.
So they've also been permitted under that one?
They have not been permitted. The owner of the building has been approved to expand their facility.
Okay.
This proposed use
That
would
was
be
my
a
first.
tenant.
That was my. That was
Yes.
like my first meeting.
And
with this. Yep.
they are going through the regulation process. They've done it in Illinois. They're functional in Illinois, and they're in the process of going through the permitting process in Mass.
Now, as far as the use is concerned, and again, this has not come before us, but it has come before the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
And my understanding is the use is, they're considering the use agricultural, and
Yes.
so that it does fall under the zoning and that use. Now, if we're talking about the facility up here, it is, in my mind, it's a retail business use that falls under the zoning and doesn't need a special, we're not,
Nobody else has got one either, so I'm just curious of what we're going to do or not do.
well, there's nothing to be done. I mean, this is legal. This falls under our zoning. They're permitted. I guess they're ready to open.
Yeah. So I thought they were supposed to open the end of the month.
Yeah, I thought it was early November, whenever the crop was in. That's what someone told me.
Yeah.
As soon as they were able to have, as soon as they had product to disseminate.
And that was news to me that they are actually growing there because
Oh yeah, I knew that.
But
That
again,
was-
so that use would fall under the agricultural use allowed under the zoning. And as far as the dispensary, I mean, I think, I find that no different than a pharmacy.
That's correct.
Right. So,
That's exactly what it is.
in my mind, again, I'm not the whole board, but my personal opinion is that there's no tweaking of the zoning bylaw necessary to accommodate that kind of use. And that was my thought. I actually read it. I wrote a letter to the newspaper with my opinion that facility does not contradict. The use does not contradict the zoning bylaw, and that the planning board should have the opportunity to look at the use. I think it did at the time, but I mean, obviously they're ready to open. They comply with zoning.
Yeah.
Did you have any other areas?
No, I have not done a comparison between the old and the new.
Yeah.
You gave me you gave us
I believe the comparisons on.
the comparison was done.
There's a side by side.
Yes.
And there was I gave you there's another document that indicates how we got to where we are. I gave that to Carly. I think it got distributed.
I don't think that one did.
All right,
The
I'll
side by
keep it
side did.
So-
And we had, she gave it to us and we had held off, starting to go through the comparison pending your discussions with your consultant. Because I wanted to see what she was going to do before we dive into the other part. I mean, I'd keep it on the agenda so we can talk about it. We can start looking at things and say, okay, this is what we see, this is what we think, give that some thought or take a look at this. But I didn't want to start that process until we found out what
Okay.
the consultant's
And
doing.
we have not yet, and we will tonight.
Okay.
I haven't even talked to Judy since we've signed this contract, so we'll have better information tonight. There may be areas she has concerns about as far as
Okay.
statutory
I'm
changes.
willing to bet she probably would make us some sort of an action item if you're going to be broadening the zoning amendments in the future. She probably would say these are some of the things that came out that were beyond the original.
You might want to look at for future dates. I mean, we just need to be proactive about the whole thing.
Yes, and again, we do need to, there are going to be, under the comprehensive plan committee, has met. There are a lot of ideas floating around what the comprehensive plan is going to include. The open space resource plan has been completed. I think it's done. Lots of ideas floating around about changes that can occur in the future with the zoning bylaw, things that need to happen for the town to move forward. That's not any.
I think the biggest stumbling block that we had too, though, is that you had a very archaic zoning on the books, and we didn't have it in an editable, so you could edit it. So we in phase 1 we hired Montechusett Regional to go in, and they recodified everything, and then Judy came in and address the policy issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at, and maybe we should have broken it out and got the new form with the,
Yes.
on the books first, if the others were going to be contentious or, I don't necessarily think that they were. It just seemed like it was a whole new thing when it really wasn't. I think the changes were not that
Were you at the last
astronomical. It
town
just
meeting?
appeared to be a totally different
The
policy.
the most recent one. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
were you there?
Yeah.
I was.
Oh, good for you.
There was,
Not that
and the
I was
only
there.
reason I even brought it up
Yeah.
is there were some fairly heated discussions about privacy and I
You're
really
talking about
don't-
around the nuisance law. Around
Oh, the nuisance.
law.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you
Oh,
meant the
yeah.
last town meeting when this
Oh,
was
yeah.
being discussed. I wasn't there
No,
for
the
that.
last town meeting we just had.
Yes, I was there for that.
Okay.
Yes. I actually
The point I
said
was getting at was
opposite of it.
when-
I posted.
that we have to be, we really have to exercise some caution when we go forward with new zoning bylaws, because I was really surprised at the responses that some of the people had for the nuisance law. You look at it and you say, well, maybe you went a little bit too far this way, or maybe you went a little bit too far that way. But the fact of the matter is, it had to be addressed.
Right.
So it passed, but I was surprised at some of the comments. So I would expect we're going to see some of the opposition
Yes.
in the same vein.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mhm.
and that's my expectation. Hopefully, and that's that Judy has done this in lots of different places. Judy is very familiar with the town of Ayer as well,
Mhm.
so I'm really I'm looking forward to having a discussion with her about how we approach town meeting, how we approach people of dissenting
It is
opinions.
you do bring up an interesting perspective, though, how the nuisance bylaw will affect some of the zoning.
Yeah.
I was
I-
concerned about the trees. It's like you have a home and you have insurance. If a tree is too close to the line, it's not dead. But if somebody's, all of a sudden
deal with
now
it all
you've
the
got a
time.
court case,
I deal with it all
you've
the
got
time.
money coming. I can only imagine our legal costs going up with bringing in the tree issue. That's where I was opposing.
I also find nuisance bylaws extraordinarily difficult to enforce.
Mm.
It really is difficult to enforce.
I think it went a little too far.
That's a good word. Discretionary?
What happens is you get your average, I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but you've got your, whomever shoulders it falls to enforce, they've got other things going on during the day,
Mm-hmm.
and you're often dealing with people who are very, very emotionally involved in the process, and it's a skill set. We've seen our police, I don't know about Ayer, but where I come from, before, most of the police calls during the week are domestics. It takes 3 police officers.
Yeah.
That's 3 cars to handle a domestic issue, because you don't know what you're walking into, and people are charged up. So it's a very difficult thing to enforce. It's an extraordinarily difficult thing to walk away from satisfied or happy. Whatever the outcome is, someone's
Well,
going to say you did a
the-
terrible job or you weren't.
Typically,
So-
when we start dealing with any of these bylaws, they're all written because of nuisances.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So how we deal with them, I guess, is going to be more important than what's written on them.
And as you say, discretionary. We'll see how it pans out. I see zoning as an important part of adding to the value of a community.
Yes.
The economy.
Lots of different reasons. I lived in small communities that had no zoning. Zoning came in. Everyone was angry through the process. All of a sudden, you know what? They figured it out. Makes sense, and the communities are laid out in such a way that it makes sense. And I think it adds value. I think it adds a great deal of value to the community. But the nuisance bylaw, it seems like there are pockets of folks who feel like they are, their rights or freedoms are being impinged upon by people near them. And
Oh,
that
absolutely.
was what generated, for right or for wrong, that's what I believe was the as I'm looking at it, that was the genesis of why it exists.
Mhm.
It's going to be a bear to enforce.
Yeah, but even looking at the general business district right now, if you go down, we just approved storage units.
Well,
It
yeah.
just doesn't seem like that's an appropriate place for it to be, but it's allowed by right, so what can
Good, how you
you do?
doing?
Not only
Good to
that,
see you.
we can't landscape it.
It's our
And
gateway.
it's set up in
our
such a way it
gateway.
can't be landscaped.
Right.
You know, and now is it better than a service station
I
that
know.
is a basic, whatchamacallit fund?
Yeah.
Cleanup site?
Yep.
I don't know.
That's a gateway, you're absolutely right.
It's a gateway.
Look at the other end.
Yep.
Yeah, and now it's expanded across the street. I'm not saying that it's awful to look at. I think he does a great job maintaining it, but still, I think there's other places better in town and not within your general business district.
I look at it as a space, and it's not an A use of any space. It's an inexpensive use of the space
Mhm.
in order to generate income. Can't fault them. This is what it's all about. You know, the gas station on the other end, we got a lot more plantings in there. There's very little we can do, but in working with the neighbors. So,
Flash drive, did you bring a flash drive?
Actually, I brought my laptop,
Okay.
because I thought I would be able to connect it to this. Can I do that?
we
Well,
have.
there's a flash drive sticking out of it. Can we use that?
Go with me one second.
You could do that too.
This is
Could
VGA.
you copy what you have, a PowerPoint onto a flash drive, if we gave you a flash drive?
Oh, there we go.
There's the VGA and HDMI.
Hey.
Oh.
Do you have, what
I
does
have
the
it- I
laptop
could just do it on my
have?
iPad. If you have those connections, I could just use it on my iPad.
I know nothing about that.
I don't know anything about it either, and it might be a little bit tricky to do it with this
I don't know about
machine, that's,
Does your iPad got
We'll give it a
HDMI on it?
minute.
I
Oh,
can
you
use
got
my
the-
or somebody
adapter.
called
You got the adapter, all
I
right.
do.
All right.
I couldn't function without it, and it's absolutely wonderful.
This is, we are on camera, this is Judy Barrett, she's now of RKG, is that
Yes,
correct?
right.
The esteemed Judy Barrett.
Oh, I'm about
So
that.
happy to have you back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back.
I'm happy to be here.
We start our discussion, this is Sam Goodwin, he's the chair of our
Zoning
CBA.
board, how you
Oh,
doing?
hi. Nice to meet you.
This is Jeff Tillotson,
Yep.
you know Jen Gibbons.
Yes.
I took
hi.
my notes already based on some of the
Yes, and I know
questions.
you.
Yes, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Let me just get this. If this gets too convoluted, I can just very easily put it on a flash drive. It's
Okay.
only a few slides anyway. I mean, I have a PowerPoint that I think was worked on here that was sort of to promote the proposed
Yes.
bylaw. And I thought, actually, because I don't know all you folks, I was going to try to step back a little bit and sort of look at how we got to where we are
I think that's exactly what.
and why some of the stuff that's in the proposed bylaw is there.
That would be helpful.
That's pretty
Yes.
much where we were
Exactly.
right now.
And that
Okay.
would be helpful to the audience on TV
Okay.
as well.
And also looking forward to some uses that weren't even thought of
Yeah, you know.
This is what happens. right?
2009, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely, and there may be some
I'm gonna
use definition tweaking that needs to happen. It's 2015, and I worked on this, in 2009,
And-
2011, so.
Yep.
Okay, so, let me see.
Gotta find the input button now, Jared.
That's what.
It should pick right up.
Yeah.
Oh,
HDMI, here we go. See what happens.
There it is.
oh, how about that? Excellent.
Isn't this technology awesome? I mean,
When it works, it works.
Why don't you take a seat right here, so you're not standing,
oh, I'm,
and I'll move down. You sure?
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, you might
Yeah.
be easier for you. Let me just.
I'm gonna tell you what, you're gonna get Rick's chair. I do better the farther away I am from these screens than the closer.
Just give it a second to open. Voila. And just creep it
Where am
along
I entering?
there.
Way up north on the lakes,
Yeah,
up above Meredith.
I was talking with somebody about Meredith this morning.
I lived in Holderness for 26 years.
My son did a PG year at Holderness.
Oh, did you really?
Spent a lot of time up there, yeah. I know the Pemmy area pretty well. We've got friends with places up there.
Yeah, I had a house on the lake up there, a little small.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Whoops,
Oops.
now, why is it doing that, I wonder? Probably because I accidentally did
Yeah, that's
this.
probably just it, yep.
Be careful, don't touch
I
the
think I'll just
technology.
very easily put this down.
And if
grab
you
my-
get near that large screen,
Yes.
it will do what it wants. It's touch sensitive.
Is it a smart one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Oh,
Let's-
awesome.
Let's actually see if it works.
Oh, so you're familiar with
I
us?
love smart boards. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, only on the Mondo though.
Oh,
On the, when it's, the other operating system.
oh,
It
okay.
does
All right.
work.
Let me just grab my stuff.
No worries.
You don't need to move, I just want to get my files,
Good.
and then I'll get back to
Mhm.
this. This. I just need, oh, I already have it here, okay, sorry.
No worries.
Being a complete airhead.
So just to start, we did open up the discussion. I think the audience does understand, we do have a proposed zoning bylaw, and our hope is to bring it in front of town meeting as late, hopefully sooner than the annual town meeting next year. That's
Which is
the-
May, right? Is
Yeah,
your
yeah.
town meeting May here? Okay. But you're thinking maybe try to do it as a special?
I'm trying to, yes, and we are looking for your feedback on that concept. We've had the town moderator says it's probably a good idea. Our
Yeah.
board feels it's probably a good idea. But maybe you can give us some pros and cons. But generally,
It varies from town to town, you know, it really does. There are some communities where you just don't do anything important outside the annual town meeting, or people think there's some conspiracy.
Oh, absolutely.
And then in other communities, they'll say, this zoning needs our focus, and it shouldn't get diluted with the budget and, warrant articles about fixing the leash law or something like that.
Right.
So I think I gotta rely on your good
Okay.
judgment here.
and you were with me when
Yep.
we tried it the first time around.
Yeah.
And
Were we at the annual?
we were at the, I think that was the annual.
I think it was.
And,
Jeremy.
and we had, it was at the end of the meeting, and we had people that, they said, wait a minute, we need more time. We need a
Right.
lot more time to talk about this.
Right.
So that's where I'm leaning, from our experience. But that's the overall, overarching, we have a date in mind. So if you can help us out, let us review how we got to where we are today.
Yes.
Hopefully starting way back at our comprehensive plan in 2005.
That's where I'm going back to.
Right, and just for your, we have met to create a new comprehensive plan finally. That committee's in process, so hopefully,
It's been
hopefully-
10 years, I would think.
yeah, it's time.
So that is actually what I was thinking, that maybe I could just sort of go back a little bit and try to explain how we got to
That'd be
this
great.
document. So some of these initial slides, this is rocket science to you folks, literally. It's, what's the connection with planning? And this is where I go back to the sort of 2003 bylaw. I may even just go off these slides and talk. I worked on the comprehensive plan in 2003. Ayer had received a grant from the federal government to do a comprehensive plan in 1997, all associated with the closure of Fort Devens. And in the early 2000s, then Governor Cellucci announced a grant program to help communities do some better planning around the fit between open space and housing and economic development. And Ayer, like many other communities, took advantage of that funding, and it was about 5 years from the 1997 plan. And so the town decided to update the 97 plan, and that's where the 2003 comprehensive plan came from. And I worked on that. I was the lead on that project. MRPC did some support on it. It was a team, and it was a lot of fun, frankly. And I'll never forget one of the public meetings we did here. It was an amazing night. We asked people, there was a lot of people at this meeting, and we asked them, so if you had $1 million handed to you, you're like, what would you do with it as a town? And someone said, we haven't had $1 million in so long. That's just not the way we think here. And it was like one of those eye-openers for the consultants coming in from Boston, like, you really have to get the culture of this little community that really has struggled with the closure of Devon. So anyway, I worked on that project, and one of the recommendations clearly was you need to update your zoning. There are technical issues with it, there are legal issues with it, there are disputes about the map, and so what's the connection here? It's just you do a comprehensive plan, and if you have nothing else that you can bring to the table as a town, because so many implementation tools are expensive, by God, you got your land use regulations. And if you don't have that in sync with your plan, it's kind of hard to, to implement your master plan. So every once in a while, communities do update their zoning bylaw, and sometimes it's a minor update. It's language, it's recognizing that there are uses today that are not in your table of uses. It's tweaking. Sometimes communities recodify, which means they've got a bylaw that's kind of a mess organizationally, and they decide we're simply going to reformat and restructure it. And that is what your phase one intent was, to sort of reformat the bylaw. And then once you have that foundation fixed, then you try to do the more substantive stuff. Sure. But there are a lot of things that sort of prompt this need to rethink your zoning. And in a community like this, I think one of the issues that really became apparent to us in the comprehensive plan and then in reviewing the zoning is you're not a town with a whole lot of land left, but you have assets that are either obsolete or going to become obsolete, and does the zoning work to allow those assets to evolve? What happens when the zoning doesn't work to let assets evolve is that they rot, and they just sort of, they end up almost like a demolition by neglect sort of problem. So thinking about the ways in which redevelopment needs to be a conscious place in your zoning is one of the things that tends to drive a zoning change. The other thing I've seen, I've been in this business for, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, almost 30 years, and one of the things I've seen is the dramatic change in the function of town centers. And everybody sort of wants to have the downtown of the 1940s. They say 1950s, it was already changing then. But they're not that anymore. And so being very alert to almost like a flexible zoning approach to allowing, this downtown is beautiful, the bones in this downtown are great. And you don't want to sort of lock the buildings into such a limited scope of opportunity that once again there's no way to invest in them and keep them up. So town center evolution, I think, is another thing that tends to prompt zoning changes. Certainly changes in industry. I think one of the things I remember kind of fondly working on the master plan here, and then also looking at the zoning, was Ayer was one of those towns that still hung on to the terminology of heavy industry. But that is like such an obsolete term. You don't want to say heavy industry, right? So just some of it, just updating the language and realizing that industry today means a much broader repertoire of activity than the way we thought about industry in 1965. And then also, this is one of my favorite ones, is just the impact of technology on the ways we think about economic development. We have, and you can see it in every decennial census, the percentage of workers who are working at home all or part of the work week continues to increase. And so if it's a telecommuter who's kind of just in a little room at home with a computer, sometimes no one knows they're there. But when it's a home occupation that may occasionally have somebody coming to the house or may have deliveries once in a while, all of a sudden there's this potential for a bit of a conflict between the residents and the business and the surrounding neighborhood. And yet, from a sustainability point of view, you don't want to really discourage home occupations either. So thinking about how do you allow them, how do you sort of set standards that would allow them to be, and then also have a process for allowing some exceptions if somebody can't fit within the box, but maybe their impact really wouldn't be that bad, but the Board of Appeals or somebody needs to sort of take a second look at it. That's just, I think, a very lively conversation that's happening in a lot of communities today. And then, it's just the ways we're thinking about energy efficiency, stormwater, oh my gosh, the impact of stormwater regulation on the way development happens. And, my favorite topic, housing. I work in lots of towns where the population number isn't changing much, but the households have increased. And it's anything from more single people, people not necessarily, so you've got two people who are separate households because they're not one, you have a demand for housing units. One of the things I see in lots of rental developments in eastern Massachusetts is a prevalence of non-custodial parents who are trying to live near their kids so they can have them on the weekends or something. So
or maintain school.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, this is the huge one.
Maintaining school.
It used to be the weekend dad, right? It isn't that anymore. It's people trying to swap their kids during the week, but the kids have to have continuity in school. So they're just things about the ways our society is changing and the way our households form and the types of households we have that I think really force us to think about how we're regulating residential development. So these are all kind of things that tend to drive changes in zoning.
Sure.
So here's what happened here. You did this comprehensive plan update, and I'll say update because it was an update of the 97 plan.
All right.
You did this phase one recodification between roughly 2007 and 2009. And then the town put out a request for proposals to do the sort of comprehensive plan policy level changes.
Right, gotcha.
And what we found when we started, this is the bylaw you have right now, and we looked through this, and we had some concerns. And then when I read the Attorney General's letter reviewing this, because you have to submit your bylaw to the AG was very careful and said, well, we're assuming that all this is just a change in format, and we have not done a substantive review. And that to me was a red flag, like, oh boy, I guess we better really do a
Yeah,
substantive
somebody
review.
better look at this, because he's telling me he did.
Yeah, and so we did. And with that, I think we had to come back to the board and say, this needs more than just laying some cool ideas on top of the bylaw. You really need to fix this. There were interesting legal things like in your your watershed protection district, the Board of Health is the special permit granting authority. Well, the statute clearly says special permits can only be granted by the planning board, the Board of Appeals, the Board of Selectmen, or City Council. So, right there, you've got an issue, and it needs to be looked at. There were some aspects of the bylaw that kind of struck me as potentially having a facial conflict with the statute. And I'm not blaming MRPC. I'm just saying that, if sometimes when you're trying to just fix a format, it's easy to lose sight of, oh boy, we better fix this while we're at it, because this is going to get this town in legal trouble. So we kind of stepped back and said, we're going to step back and we're going to
So you
really
addressed all the
recodify.
statute
Yeah,
issues.
oh yeah.
then?
Yeah.
Because that
We
was one of the
essentially,
questions he was asking is,
Yeah.
from that time point to today, whether or not you would be addressing some of the statute.
yeah, and we should give this another look because the case law continues to evolve.
Of course. Sure.
But the other thing that concerned me about the bylaw that we were given to work with was that there was both a table of uses in the back and an outline format of the uses per district. And we said, you don't want to do this because what happens when there's a conflict between the two? And it then falls to the building inspector to figure out, am I looking at the table of uses or am I looking at the outline, which is organized around what we call nested uses? You start with the sort of most restrictive district and you build from there. So we said pick one or the other, and the board seemed to be pretty in agreement that the table of uses made more sense, and I strongly agreed with that. One of the things that tends to happen with the outline approach, a sort of section for each district, is that a little change in wording can create such confusion, and I'll give you an example. If you have a district in which you say one of the allowed uses is an accessory use, or an accessory building, this is a better one. And then the next district is accessory structure. Because someone didn't do that cross-check, but those mistakes don't happen in a table of uses because you've got the uses listed and you run them across the districts, and so you don't end up with that kind of confusion. So we suggested, and the board agreed, that you take the nested use or outline and you do just a table of uses. And so that is one of the changes that's in this. There were some other changes too, but I mean, this is both a recodification and I would say an initial implementation of the comprehensive plan recommendations. It's both. Because we were very concerned about trying to build on the recodification we were given. We just thought there were going to be some real conflicts here. Okay, there were some text errors in there. So that's, oh yeah. And then sometimes too, when you start thinking about, this is a good one. Sometimes when you start thinking about ways that you want to implement a policy recommendation, you're reading the bylaw at a deeper level. When you're doing recodification, you're kind of reading it this way. And then you start wanting to graft stuff onto that bylaw and you're reading it a level down. And you begin to see other conflicts that maybe you didn't see right away. A little thing like parking space dimensions.
Right.
Your parking space dimensions here, pardon me, but they are silly. And so the industry standard, you don't have here. And so why would you ask for a bigger parking space than you need? That's where the planner says, but stormwater management says you don't want to have X excess impervious coverage. So why would you require parking spaces to be bigger than they need to be? You end up with a parking lot that's bigger than it needs to be. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
You start looking at these things and you can see the potential for the next level of conflict. So a lot of that stuff we tried to address in this bylaw. So things like the parking space dimensions are 9 by 18 instead of 10 by 20.
Absolutely, yeah. Great.
And then, so substantive changes. Now, a couple of these MRPC had started to work with the board on, and we just sort of took it to the next level.
Okay.
So the mixed-use transition district, that was in the master plan. MRPC had talked to the board about it. We've got it in here. It's not an overlay district, it's a new district.
Right.
I think one of the other things that's changed a lot in this business in the last 20 years, we used to all talk about overlay districts. And why did we talk about overlay districts? Because then property owners didn't get nervous that you were going to make them non-conforming and so forth. But you know what we've done? We've created a very complicated zoning scheme in Massachusetts communities, and we have created a condition that is rife for use conflicts. Because now you've got an overlay that says one thing and an underlying district that says another, and what you've got is chaos. So if there's a problem with the zoning in an area, fix it. And don't just kind of keep grafting overlays on it. So
Sure.
that is a proposed use district in this, in this proposed bylaw. The downtown business district, we suggested some tweaks. Jeremy, I don't know if you remember this, but this is a very interesting comment at town meeting. In the downtown district, we basically said that a lot of the parking requirements that would apply to, say, general business outside the downtown would not apply in downtown, because you can't meet those requirements when you've got a built district. But we also said you should have some bicycle parking.
Yes.
I mean, and someone was concerned about that and
Right.
thought that we were sort of implying that people should live a different way.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very interesting comment.
was an
I thought,
interesting comment.
yeah, and I thought, no, this is just about making sure that people can bike to the downtown.
And I
park.
wasn't in that meeting. Go think about it. I believe bicycles, people should live a different way. But
It's like, but to me, it's
So I'm
just,
back, whoever it was. I'm back.
well,
Like
it's
that
just,
right there.
well, I mean, the person was, I think,
It's
concerned that
direction in one
somehow
place,
there was a
but
whole
it's okay.
philosophy under the bylaw, the proposed bylaw, that
Right.
was somehow suggesting that people should like live a fundamentally different way. And really all it was, no, you got a downtown, you've got kids and other people who are gonna bike here, provide a place for them to put their bikes. That's all it was.
Yes.
So, and then, let's see, oh, the cluster bylaw that you have right now is
Yes.
sad, and we proposed a fundamental rewrite of that.
Sure did.
There's an inclusionary zoning piece that's in here that wasn't there before, which is simply a requirement that you provide some affordability within
Yes, that's right.
residential developments over a certain size.
Does that mirror the statute?
Well, statute is not really very clear. Section 9 of Chapter 48 allows the town to grant a density bonus in exchange for lower moderate income housing. What a lot of communities have tried to do is essentially impose inclusionary zoning on all types of residential development, including subdivisions, and the Westwood case just says you really cannot do that. So what the proposed bylaw says is if it's a type of residential development that requires a special permit, then it must provide affordable housing. And if it, but it doesn't touch subdivisions.
Does it recommend ratios?
Yeah, there's a percentage in there. I
Okay.
think it may be just 10%.
I think
It's
that's
a
correct.
soft
It's a
ID
soft one,
bylaw.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
it is.
'cause I just wonder how that fits with Ayer's overall need to get to the statutory limit,
You know,
statutory amount.
Inclusionary zoning
I
is
think
more
we're over
like a
that
look at-
anyway.
I don't know if we are. We are.
Yeah.
I meant to look it
Yeah,
up.
why-
but
We're at 8.5, 8.5.
So we're
I
Close.
thought it was 5 was statutory.
No, 10.
No, it's 10.
10%,
It's 10%.
yeah.
But you want to lay the groundwork to always have it going forward.
Yeah, and all
Yes.
this does is sort of say if you were at 10%, you wouldn't lose ground.
Mhm.
That's really all this does.
Mhm.
But inclusionary zoning doesn't really get anybody to 10%. It really doesn't.
It's another tool.
It's just another tool.
Yeah.
It's another way to sort of, and the other thing that inclusionary zoning does is it tends to distribute the affordable units throughout the town.
You mentioned overlay districts coming from Belmont,
Oh,
nowhere near what they need to be, and the overlays don't make up for it.
yeah, they don't.
As a matter of fact, it doesn't exist in overlay zoning there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think there was an affordability requirement in Cushing Village, which they just did, but I'm not sure about that.
Yep, there was.
There is, yeah.
There is, but it doesn't move the town closer.
Oh, no, it doesn't. No,
Anyway,
it's,
but,
it's a feel-good. It's a feel-good inclusionary zoning.
When the camera's off, we'll talk about it.
Okay,
What's
so,
happened just as far as our 10%, wherever we're 8.5, but we've had so many units come online in Pingree Hill,
Oh.
which of course are not affordable, which is increasing our
overall
base.
number of units.
Right, right. So our
Exactly.
affordable's going down.
yeah, you'll see that with the next census, because until census 2020, your base number is the year-round housing units in census 2010. So you could be adding units until census 2020, and the percentage will go up because the base doesn't change. But as soon as census 2020 comes out and the base changes, then your percentage drops.
Okay.
Yeah,
I believe it's a good tool to have in there as
yeah,
development happens. So there's always a component,
right,
and very quickly it becomes a non-issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, that's my experience too, but, so there is an IC piece in this. And then the Aquifer Protection District Special Permit Authority, we recommended, I think it's the Board of Appeals, it's either the Board of Appeals or Planning Board, I don't remember right now, but just to try to align that with the statute. And I remember asking the board at the time, were you on the board? I'm trying to remember, you weren't on for the whole thing, you were on for part of it, weren't
A
you?
year and a half. I was,
Yeah. I was trying to find out, is this going to cause a problem with the Board of Health? Do we need to talk to the Board of Health? And I was told no, that really they're fine. But you might want to just sort of, at some point here, we should probably make sure that they understand what the issue is. And if you want to
I
get,
made a note there, yeah.
yeah. And then also the non-residential development. Your existing site standards are really weak. And one of the things I find in communities that are really affluent communities almost don't need to set standards because they'll just insist and the developers will do it. The developers want to do it because they want a high value property. But when you're not in that upper echelon of wealth, if you don't insist on quality, you're not going to get it. And so there's always this tension communities feel between, well, we don't want to scare business away and we just want the tax revenue. But if all you do is just sort of take every business that comes along and you don't say, you can come and do business in our community, but by God, you're going to have a decent landscaping plan, and the building isn't going to look like crap. You know, you're setting expectations not only for that business, but for somebody else who might be thinking about coming into your town, who says, "Am I going to invest in a place where I am at risk of having a really crappy piece of property next door? I know this town has standards, and that's not likely to happen to me." Give yourselves permission to say you want quality. So there are standards in here that really are not in this bylaw at all. And it's not that you wouldn't try to impose those requirements through site plan review or something, but this bylaw kind of says, this is what you got to do.
It'd be nice to have a higher bar before site plan review.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Sure.
Hey, the gas station, there was no pushback.
There was no, yeah, absolutely.
Please re-landscape it. Okay. It was almost an informal
Most
conversation.
of them will just do it,
It
you
was
know.
almost an informal conversation. But had they come to the table with it done, they wouldn't have to come back a month later.
I gotta go.
Do you-
Thank you very much. Yeah, I
I'm
have.
sorry.
No, I'd love to stay and listen to the rest of it, but
Well, it's going to be
Long
videoed.
story.
Are you
so-
feeling better so far?
I'm interested to see this.
Okay, great, yep.
Yeah,
jot
and we
down.
can make
We
tweaks
get
to
a
this.
presentation,
No,
get it online.
pardon me?
We can make some tweaks to this. I mean,
No, I'd be really interested to see how it came out.
yeah,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you,
thanks.
sir.
Yeah.
It takes longer than 3 minutes to get across town.
The,
He hasn't let you get to.
I understand. Most of the developers I know would actually rather have you tell them, so that they can just build it into
Yes.
their pro forma and say, okay, they're gonna want this, this, and this.
It
And
becomes cost effective in the whole throughout the entire process.
that's my experience too. I mean, if they're unreasonable standards, that's one thing, but I don't think we were unreasonable. I think we were just asking for basic stuff. So
Absolutely.
those are kind of the sorts of examples of the changes that are in there. And so sort of, well, what now and where are we? And I think this is really what I need some direction from you
Okay,
folks
great.
on. Is, I know you want to try to take this back to town meeting. I think one of the things that we all should do, because it's been 4 years, 4 years,
It has been.
let's take a look at this and see if there's something is there something we should add to the table of uses that we didn't think of in 2011? I mean, we can't do a wholesale rewrite of this, but maybe
Yeah.
just take a look at this.
May I ask? I don't want to interrupt your flow.
No, it's fine, go
But
ahead.
we currently have a marijuana dispensary as an approved use over here
Yeah.
on Central, and we have a permit before the town for a marijuana wholesale use farther on Willow Street. Now, I don't know the zoning map. I don't have it internalized, so I don't know. I don't know whether, I think that probably both, this is probably business, And Will, I'm gonna guess is light industrial currently?
Willow Road is, it's either light industrial or it might also be
I
general
mean,
business.
I think
Ayer's becoming the gateway town for marijuana in Massachusetts.
Do you have the medical marijuana bylaw here?
We do
No.
not.
Because that's what going to be one of my questions is, has the zoning changed at all since 2011? Because if there's anything we need to add to this that wasn't there, we need to know.
This would be, this was a use in 2009, 2011, no one thought about it.
Yeah.
I
no,
mean,
we
I knew a
know.
bunch of people who were working for it, and I thought they were kind of high in the sky people.
Yeah,
But it really rolled forward.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and
There-
whether or not you're for or against it,
No, right, that's really not the
you need
point.
to be thinking about the uses going
Right.
forward. And I think that's one of the reasons Sam was saying, was sitting
Okay,
here.
okay.
And I think just as a general, a lot of communities have gone through, when the, marijuana was approved at the state level, medical
Yeah.
marijuana, a lot of communities.
Everybody was adopting medical marijuana bylaws 2
Very
years ago.
interesting.
Everybody.
In general, and the town of Ayer approach was we wanted to be not necessarily welcoming, but we didn't want to. The direction was not a marijuana, medical marijuana zoning bylaw concept. We didn't want to be that restricted. Now, the existing facility, I think it's in general business.
Mhm.
It's a retail use.
I'm assuming it's general business, yeah.
The growth of the plants falls in the agricultural use. There was a consensus at the time, and it's about to open, so it does fall under the existing zoning. The town, and I think this question went in front of town meeting.
My understanding was for the heated town meeting too.
Yes, but at the end of the day, we decided that we weren't going the route of changes to the bylaw.
Okay. But that would just be, actually.
It's one example.
This is what we were discussing before you got here. But other examples that you may be aware of that are happening in other communities in the area, not even here necessarily, but around the country. I mean, I focus on residential use of property. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about businesses.
Well, I mean, there are things that certainly are going on, and even were going on when we were working on this. And I think, right, wrong, or otherwise, I think one of the decisions that was made was just how much do you try to take on when you're basically asking people to make all these other changes. But certainly a solar bylaw, that's a huge one out there, sort of the regulation of solar installations. The medical marijuana one comes to mind, windmills. Those kinds of regulations we didn't tackle in 2011.
That's right. Again, we've had a number of solar installations that have come to the town. In general, we have fit solar installations into the existing zone with not too much difficulty, with some discussion, perhaps, some back and forth, but it fits. And the idea of, and again, this is open to discussion. In my, personally, I don't feel a additional restriction as far as maybe depicting where in town we might have a solar installation. I don't want to restrict the town, to restrict developers in picking exactly where they can do this and where they can't. But that's my personal opinion. But you're absolutely right, that wasn't on the table back then, and could be now.
Yeah, and and it's funny, I see solar and windmills as a positive alternative step.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm just trying to. I thought it was written here somewhere. Right
There it
there.
is.
There you go.
Welcome to. Thank you.
You can get on the Wi-Fi too. But, I just, other, creative.
Those are the
ideas.
ones that kind of come to mind.
You mentioned home business, home occupation.
Oh, yeah, it's a huge
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I think I just get a little nervous about solar farms and where they're cropping up. And
Yeah,
how they
I
can
mean,
they
that's
can
an
change the
example of
character
where
the town,
people
you know.
are trying to kind of make sure that they distinguish between a
think
solar
we're pretty
installation on a
well
house and a
thought
solar
Yeah.
farm.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
so- and-
I
well,
think
and-
the solar installation on the house
Yes.
actually is, so I think the solar installation on the house crosses a line. And I will be doing it.
I'm sorry,
If
Well, I think
a
that-
solar installation on the house crosses the line. I think it's
on a house.
Well, I actually
an
think it's
investment.
protected. I think it's protected under the zoning
State-
act.
state
It
law.
may be protected in the
Yeah,
zoning
I
act,
think it is.
but if you sat back and then thought about it, it's a business use of a residential. I mean, I'm leasing my property to a generation facility.
I think you're going to find this exempt under Chapter 48.
Probably is.
But the the argument is about the larger, the solar farm, and I think you probably do want to have some regulations around that.
Yes, and well, Jen makes a good point in that, and again, we've had a facility, National Grid is going to install, Borrego Solar is going to install a farm, call it a farm, it's not quite that big, adjacent to transmission lines owned by National Grid.
This is off the trail. This is what they mentioned
Yes.
to us. I'm still trying to figure out where that is. but-
And so it has come before this board and other boards in town. It hasn't been a problem yet. And Jen's right. Jen mentions that there isn't a whole lot of room to do anything in this town, let alone a major solar farm or solar field. So again, yes, absolutely, it's on the table for maybe us to discuss. I personally don't see it as a huge problem for this town that we need to deal with in this current proposed zone development.
Okay. But I mean, you certainly are right. There are things out there that either were consciously not addressed in 2011 or have come up since then. And I think, what I can't do is sort of a wholesale rewrite of this.
No,
But I do
just-
think you need to deal with it.
Where's the low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, that's a very
That's
good
really
question.
what it comes
It's
down
a
to. Where's the
very good
low-hanging fruit
question.
now? May or may not be included now, but what would be the strategy going forward to include?
Right.
Absolutely.
Very good
to
question.
include these
Absolutely.
things?
Well, and part of what I've tried to do in reformatting this is give you a format that's going to be easy to add things
Yes.
to without screwing up the
Thank you.
numbering.
That's
Oh my
what-
God.
I can't wait.
This is so, the
Yes.
numbering on this existing one is really a challenge. So this kind of starts a renumbering at each new section, and it really should be fine. You should be able to add to it without a whole lot of trouble. The other thing that is true about this is that anything that can be handled by regulation, by
Needs to
planning
be.
board, is not in the bylaw. I mean,
Yes.
you don't need a site plan review bylaw that's
Yes.
20 pages.
Yes.
You really just need to provide the structure for the review. Things like, what's the notification process, what's the decision period, what are the decision criteria, but how many copies somebody needs to
Right.
submit,
Oh.
and that's all that can be planning board regulation. You don't want to clutter your bylaw with that stuff.
Is the site plan review in that zoning now? Or is it?
It's in this one,
It
yeah.
is, okay.
Yeah, but it's
It
like
is,
4
it changes,
pages.
yes,
It's like 4 or 5
yes,
pages, because it's just the authority, it's the structure to have it.
Okay.
Well, that
okay.
and
Thank you.
site plan review requirements are going to change over time.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah,
somebody go
it's
down and
zoning
create,
reform never
5
happens.
vellum copies, what are we gonna do with them?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
First thing we do is digitize them or ask.
Well, that's why you want it in regulation and not in your bylaw, because you don't have to go to
Exactly. You wanna
town
be able to
meeting to
modify it
change.
going forward.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that stuff should be administrative, so
Absolutely.
I tried to kind of clean stuff out of here that doesn't need to be there, and there may be even more things I could clean out, but that was part of the underlying intent, so I just, I think we need to sort of talk about how do you want to take this forward,
Yes.
aside from perhaps taking a look at this and, to use your phrase, thinking about whether there's any low-hanging fruit issues that you might want to address.
Okay.
But I think there needs to be sort of a presumed kind of public conversation about this, so people know what's coming, and maybe we didn't do enough of that last time. That lady's question about the bicycle park.
That came out of nowhere.
It has haunted me the whole,
It
ever
really
since
has.
2011.
I've mentioned it. I've mentioned
Yeah.
it. several times.
Because somebody had this concern,
Yeah.
and you never heard it, and, the board had a public hearing, had a couple of hearings.
It's coming, I deal with bicycle, tourism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As a hobby.
Yeah.
And there's a great many resources to handle those concerns.
Mhm.
There's even resources now that'll discuss the economic impact of cyclists.
Oh, yeah.
We spend money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're rebuilding East Main Street we're gonna have a bike lane, I think.
Yeah, I know. So you really do want to have bicycle parking.
So
So it makes sense.
we'll talk about this some other time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So so that's just sort of, I think we need to decide how you want to do that. And the other thing is, I think the board really tried to sort of get this to town meeting. I think you guys need sort of a coalition with some of your other land use boards, maybe a sort of a partnership almost with the Board of Appeals and the Board of Selectmen, whoever
Yes.
else need, conservation, whoever. People need to all kind of be together on this, to the extent that you can.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And I don't know the town well enough to say, so I'm just going to throw out some suggestions. Some communities where I've worked on zoning, one of the best things in the world is sort of the all boards meeting, where you get everybody in a room, all the decision makers. It's not that you're trying to exclude the public, you're trying to talk to the people who are going to have to administer this thing. And talk about, kind of, make sure they've got a copy, put a draft stamp back on it, it actually still says proposed. And have sort of a discussion meeting, here's kind of what the intent of this is, here are some key provisions, what are your questions? And do it so they all feel like you're part of it.
Absolutely.
And we might all learn something from some of those questions. I always do. Like, you think you've been so clear, and then somebody asks you a question, and you go, did I really write that? So it really helps to have those meetings.
Do you really want to be in the room when that happens?
Yeah, you do, because, no, I'm very,
No, I'm kidding.
I'm really humble. It's like, no, everybody makes a mistake. But people who use this stuff all the time are very conscious of little wording problems and how they can become big problems.
We've stumbled on in the past.
Yeah.
Through experience.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, land use would be ZBA, planning board.
It's gonna be ZBA, planning board, it might be
Conservation.
Conservation.
Board of Health.
Yep.
Board of Health.
And selectmen.
How, I mean, I'm thinking, as I always am, about, next year's annual meeting for my properties. When I'm doing the annual meeting this year, how long would it take, and could those be put together, given the agendas that they have between now and, make it up, third week of December?
Oh, at all boards meeting? I don't think you can
Yeah.
do that, but
January?
I would think like right after the holidays.
Oh,
That would be
okay.
my, we're walking into holidays.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm just.
You're not, I'm just telling
trying to
you.
think where we are, because.
We are walking into that period when everybody's attention turns to turkey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And jingle bells and.
Tryptophan and jazz.
It's like, it's amazing. It's already happening. I'm already starting to see quorum problems, or people are just distracted. Their lives, it is what it is. I would say right after the holidays, that's what I was thinking. I would,
Sure.
where you're a Maytown meeting, I think that's plenty of time. And
Okay.
so that's a suggestion. And
All right.
then, again, this is just because different towns are different ways. Sometimes people, even though I know this is broadcast, people may never watch a planning board meeting, but they tend to watch a selectmen's meeting.
Yeah.
So does it make sense to sort of go to the selectmen and say, as a planning board, and say, guess what, we're back?
Actually, that makes sense, yeah.
And that might be a way to get the word out. A display board at the library is something that everybody's into technology, but not everybody.
Oh,
And
these
sometimes
I have
people,
bulletin boards, I use them.
yeah, really, they can be very helpful. I wouldn't do that yet, because we want to make sure we've got this airtight and ready to
Right,
go.
right.
But I mean, some kind of a display board that just gives maybe some high points.
Yeah.
And want more information, go to www.ayer.ma.us and click on whatever, and there it'll be. And just another way for
Yeah.
people to find out the information, so they know what's going on, because you're an open town meeting here, so you really have to be able to think about all those folks you never see, who do nonetheless come to town meeting
Right.
and vote.
And that's what happened at our town meeting, when you and I were there.
Right.
We had people that suggested, well, I just picked this up in the back of the room,
I
and
know.
I haven't read it, when the reality is we had a number of open sessions, a number
Oh my
of-
God, we did.
We
Right.
had sessions, and it had been on the internet, and it had been available, but still, you'll have people that arrive that say,
What is this? Yeah, I know, it happens.
Oh, no, I've been there.
So you try to minimize it. That's all you can do, is
That's
sort
all
of
we can do,
minimize that and do it, make it public enough that when someone says, I didn't know about this, there's somebody else, you've got a coalition person out in the
Yes.
town meeting floor who can get up and say,
Absolutely.
actually, the planning board's been very open about this, we've had 5 meetings or whatever. It's, to me, that's building capacity to get it passed.
Does the library have a smartboard like this?
no.
We could have it like on a loop where it's running like a nice.
Yeah.
We could
Could
have
have
Something that would be
we
tweaked
could do
after the
that,
round,
like a
table
PowerPoint,
discussion with
sure.
the boards.
I'm also thinking about, how do you present something? It's a daunting document.
It is a daunting
It's going-
document,
because I read these things all the time,
right?
and I found myself really not wanting to give it the 45 minutes it was going to take just to read it.
But you've got to.
Well, yeah, no, I did.
It's like the
I
best
did.
reading
And
ever.
I found the comparison the same.
Actually, no. A friend of mine just wrote a book. That's much better writing. But and there are acronyms in here. I'm
Yeah.
from East. I got to find new acronyms, all that stuff. But the other thing is, I'm thinking about how would I present this to people? A quick. This is how it was written before. This is how it's written again.
Yeah.
Now, and pick a section that's substantively not much different. But oh my gosh, look at how clear that is.
We did that.
I can
actually still have
understand
it.
that.
We did a side by side.
Oh yeah,
You do have it.
but
Yeah,
not the
yes,
whole
yes.
document, not the whole
It doesn't
document.
help much.
But in a presentation like that,
Yes,
pick
that's a
few,
good idea. That's a
pick
good
few
idea.
and nail them down. And
Yes.
then, it's just, it's not dumbing it down. It's like
You're right.
you gotta.
I think the side by side is so hard
Transparency is
for us
important.
to.
It's a big document, it's hard
Because
to,
the
Somebody's
new
going-
document
yeah.
is so different.
yeah, it was
It's
hard
night
to
and
do
day
it.
from the old to the new, and then it's like trying to look.
When you're gonna have
You just
a
can't do it.
wedding
But
loop.
even a section of it and a section of it,
Mhm.
and just a description, arrows and circles and arrows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
This is why we did this.
yeah. we could maybe even do a handout, like a 2-page
And
handout
I'm
with some
happy,
examples
I'm
of
happy to
that.
work on that if you want. I mean, it's just
That would
really.
that might work better in a handout than in a running loop
Mm-hmm.
PowerPoint. But you know what else you can do? I mean, people respond to graphics, right? And
Yeah.
of course,
Pictures.
bylaw.
Well,
But you
a
could
map
even
is
have
key.
like just a map, you know, just here's what we're proposing to be the mixed-use transition district. And just
Yes.
show that area.
Yeah.
And here, this is what would be allowed. And just let them see, in this area, this is what we're proposing.
Mhm.
In this area, this is what we're proposing. It doesn't work well for the residential districts because they're big, but the
Yeah.
business districts and industrial district, you could do that. And at least it would give
It's not that
people,
big.
no, they're
It's
not.
not that complex.
No, it isn't that complex. So I think maybe trying to knit some graphics into this would
Absolutely.
be very helpful, and to get people to
Mhm.
think spatially would be a good idea.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can work on something like that with you. And then I was just wondering, do you need to have a meeting with the local business owners? I have no idea.
Well, that's how many people? 1, 2. Excuse me all, I'm sorry.
The,
There do seem to be some new businesses on
Yes,
Main
there
Street,
are.
am I wrong?
There's some
I was
great-
kind of amazed
There's
when
some
I.
great new businesses.
Yeah, there seemed to be.
and there's some, there's some young people operating some of these new businesses, and they're exciting. And as far as their town meeting participation, to the extent we can get people excited about this, or certainly not feeling negative about it, I think would be helpful. So that's a possibility.
But they are new businesses, though.
Yeah,
They're not
absolutely.
the same people that were around when you were.
Oh,
I was
it's
impressed when
restaurant
I
girls
pulled
and
in, I
isn't
saw
it?
some businesses that I know were not here, and I thought, this is good.
Yeah,
I
it's
think we
good.
probably
We're
should
doing
put
well.
that on.
What's interesting is now that Bonnie and I have been here a year, we recognize and know owners of half a dozen businesses along this strip. My wife Bonnie is on the Conservation Commission,
I see,
but we use them regularly,
yeah.
Absolutely.
and we'd be more than happy to approach them. I mean, I don't know how the local business owners are. I know they had the
But
Halloween
sometimes they can
unfortunately not
peddle the
here.
information out of fear. That brings people to the town meeting thinking that it's an adverse against my friend that sells, 15 Main Street or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm here.
If they are organized in any way at all,
Squash
it might be
that, yeah.
worth thinking
I
about
don't know how
doing
they're
a,
organized. I know they do the
Yeah,
Halloween
that's-
thing. Do they have a?
They
they have a
do,
merchants association or
I don't
something?
think-
They do. It's not necessarily that popular, and they are in between directors,
Oh.
presidents, whatever they call it.
I mean, right now,
trying to find some-
Subway's new. The coffee shop,
Yeah,
Union
that's,
Cafe.
right,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
new.
Don't miss that. That's fantastic. The
Yeah,
couple
the
that
new
are
coffee
running
shop's really
that
up.
I
are
have not been there yet.
tremendous.
Wow.
So is it part
Tremendous.
of the GM?
Carrie and Jesse.
The coffee shop on the corner is.
Do they
is,
live here?
Yeah.
Have you been to the coffee shop? Through
They're
the
local.
That's good.
Union, yeah.
The local
That sounds good. Is it-
Union Coffee
That's not-
Roasters.
It's not with
Nope,
GM?
nope, nope.
Okay.
Union Coffee Roasters, no. And actually, if you ever get a chance to watch the selectmen's meeting with them, the energy was so high. And go meet Carrie and her husband, and they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're great.
I don't drink coffee. I go in on Saturdays to hang out with them. You
That's
know,
funny.
it's like
Nice.
Wow.
It is,
really
things are good
nice.
on Main Street there right now.
Yeah. And I don't know about flatbreads and ales, but
That's coming.
they're friends with,
What is it?
they're acquaintances with coffee roasters.
The new place that hasn't opened yet, where Tony's restaurant usually is New England Flatbread.
O'Hanlon's, it's now called flatbreads and ale.
Hasn't quite opened yet, but owned by Marco. The whole restaurant row. Yep.
You know, so
Nice.
So I
There's
would just
energy.
say generally, think about, because you know the town better than I do, what sort of outreach you need to do.
I
Don't
think
start it
that's-
now because
yeah.
really you're not going to be able to keep people's attention right after
You're right.
the holidays.
Timing.
Be thinking now about what we should be doing right after
Right.
the holidays.
there's groundwork that could be laid.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That all could be happening now. And I'm just throwing some
Would you say
suggestions
reach
out.
out to the business before the roundtable discussion?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Well, except, people on town boards want to know first, so I suppose maybe you should have the all boards meeting first.
Mhm.
Okay,
I would do that as a courtesy to them.
okay.
But, right around the same time, I would do that. And I, meanwhile, can be working on, if you want me to, I can kind of work on sort of a PowerPoint that might run somewhere, like on a
That would be
continuous
great.
loop.
I
I
think
could
that
do
would be
that.
Yep.
I could do a handout that might be a few examples, like what you said, of here's what it says now and here's what it would be.
That's typically what scares people. When
Yeah.
you go and change a bylaw,
Oh,
what are they taking away?
I can't tell you how many times people have said, what are you doing? Well, it's in your zoning now.
Right.
It is? Oh,
But
yes.
we can't expect that they'll understand that.
Yeah, I know. You have to show it,
We
sort of show them
manage
what it
that,
says.
and there's no way around it. What do you mean we have zoning? I didn't know we had zoning.
Deal with it all the time, you know?
What is zoning? So,
It makes your
And the only map changes this involved were designating that area north of, on Park Street as the mixed-use transition district. And then,
Oh, I thought we also added some of the overlay districts that, like the Devon's Enterprise.
we didn't do any map amendments like that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, we intentionally tried to keep the map amendments to the boundaries that already exist.
Okay.
So an area that I think is industrial was going to become general business or something. We were looking at, I'll find it.
That's
I'll
okay.
find it.
I-
There was an area
I
that
have
I
to look
know.
at the map when I read it, so
Yeah, I'll find it. I have that.
Lost.
There was an area where it was zoned industrial, but when you actually look at it, it doesn't look industrial anymore. And so we talked about changing that to something like more like general business, I think. But
Right, and I'm not even sure that change happened. I think.
oh, I don't think any of these did.
Right, exactly.
But there was a map that went along with this. I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Well, yes, and, well, we have the map. We do
Yeah.
have the map that shows the mixed-use transitional. Actually, it's on the board, and it's just not
I'll
here.
grab it. Can you grab it?
Oh, then, yeah, because I think we made the map for you to have
Oh,
for
it is,
town meeting.
I didn't know if this included it or not, but anyway.
Do we have,
Yeah, that looks very familiar.
Yeah.
2011, is that the date on
This
it?
is the 2009, so this is the
Alright.
approved, and, yeah, we don't have the proposed.
I've got it, I'll send it to you.
Yes. I do, we do. But I believe the proposed,
Oh, it's underneath.
Devon's Regional Enterprise.
Yeah,
Haven't
these
seen
were
this
all
use.
put- yeah.
No.
Those were put on in 2009, Judy? Was that?
These
say
are the
draft.
2009
These
So it
are
maps,
includes the
2009.
Devon's.
but
Yeah.
the mixed-use district is not on here
Okay, so
because it
that's
wasn't
already-
adopted
okay.
yet.
And that's, when you say it's on Park Street?
It's basically this area, it's
Oh,
this
okay.
area. And then,
also
What
on
is-
Central, yep.
And
Yeah.
Central, yep.
and
And-
this one of these areas of general business was going to be rezoned to a residential
So,
zone because
yeah,
because
so-
the uses have changed. We're not consistent with what's there.
The Habitat is sitting in the Central Avenue zone. So
Yes, that's
I'll
the
find it.
general business is right.
Okay.
I'll find it.
So that goes all the way down to just this side of the health club. Groton Harbor Road,
Yes.
looks like,
Yes.
which is that large storage facility.
Right. So anyway, this becomes mixed use area.
So one of the changes that's happened in town, though, from what I understand, though, was David Marha, who was the connection to the businesses, is now resigned.
Economic Development
Oh,
Director.
I remember that name.
So
He
we're
just-
currently without that resource for you and
Okay.
us through this process. I'm
Okay.
not sure,
So there's
Where-
nobody in the economic development
you know,
office now?
to help us kind of connect and do the walkabout to hand out
We're
flyers.
very
and
short
give
on
us-
staff in general.
Is
But
it being
you know what,
replaced?
though, I would donate a Saturday afternoon and pedal the, I mean, it's really not that far of a walk. I walk the rail trail 4 miles a day, so.
Is he being replaced though? I mean, is there no?
That's a topic of discussion.
I
so
see.
there's no
Okay.
Maybe we
timetable
could reach out to the
for it.
Rotary, you know, I don't,
Yeah, we can, yeah, that's something we can.
See, reach out at the Rotary,
yeah.
hang out at the Rotary, anything, so
Oh, yeah.
as cars go by.
I'll sign up.
So that's, I mean, that's where I kind of
Okay,
ended
great.
with this, was just, we need to talk about the going forward and how do you want to do this?
Okay.
So you're gonna work on,
I'll do a continuous loop PowerPoint, you know, with sort of key ideas in the zoning, and then I'll also work on a handout, a simple handout like what you've talked about, with a little bit of comparison. It can't do the whole thing, but just
No, no,
a few
just-
examples of,
Examples of why
Right.
this was needed, you know.
you know, as far as coalition building, you know, I'm working with, Jen and I are both participating in the comprehensive plan process.
Good.
As far as a coalition, that's a good place to start. They are keen on our progress on this bylaw. So I can talk to the town administrator, who's going to be very helpful in this process.
Good.
And keep them on board, keep them updated to what we're trying to do.
Sure.
And I can talk to the town administrator about how he feels about an all boards meeting.
Yeah, ask him about it. I mean, it's just a suggestion for me. It's a
Yes.
very efficient way to get everything.
Well, you're absolutely
together,
right, to get buy-in from, and we did try to do this, and I think we were effective in doing this, didn't really work, but we did essentially have buy-in from the boards, it just didn't translate into votes on town meeting floor. So I guess that's the trick, is to get the buy-in, the coalition, and to somehow translate that to support on town meeting floor. That's our challenge.
It's difficult to get excited about a zoning bylaw change. Most people think they're doing something they don't quite understand.
Who is town council here?
Copeland and Page.
Okay, do you know who you normally deal with?
Uh,
Used to be
Mark Rich on occasion, Winter, Attorney Winter, I
Okay.
believe I've talked to on ZBA issues,
Okay.
where you,
I just was never clear, Jeremy, last time, if they actually got this to review in advance, and we need to make sure they do.
they did, we did go through that process. They
Okay.
have, they did review it, I have some paperwork on that, so we did go through that, they did review it.
Okay, and I'm just not remembering whether I was asked to make any changes, because it was 4 years ago, and I'm getting old, right, and I can't retain this stuff anymore,
Right,
but,
and
so
I don't remember either, so, but I'll look that up.
yeah, let's just sort of make sure they're okay with, you know, the worst thing in the world is for town council to get up at town meeting floor and say, well, actually,
totally get it.
oh yeah, right, we don't want this. So let's just make sure they're okay. Well, there's plenty of time to do this, so if they
Absolutely.
want some tweak,
Yes.
I mean,
And they are on the front lines in other towns.
yeah, they are, exactly.
So
Um,
between now and say January, just because Sam did ask the question about
Sure.
bringing it up to, with current statutes, are you gonna make those changes between?
Yeah,
now and then?
there's not that much
Is that
to
within the
change.
scope
Okay,
or?
that's-
No, I have to do that because otherwise I'd be setting you up.
Okay.
If I don't make sure there's some conflict in here that's been addressed, then when you go, if this thing goes through town meeting and it ends up in the AG's office, I don't want them to kick it back to you with some complaints. So
Okay,
I don't really think there's anything like that needs to be fixed because of when we did this. But let me just go through it again because it's been a while since I looked at
That's
it.
exactly
too.
what I've been telling people who ask, and
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
And this is the one that you've gone like this, that is the current one that's on the website?
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
very so.
This one is the one that's on the website.
Okay.
It has a date on it, it has, the cover says Final Zoning Bylaw Reorganization 2009.
Oh, okay.
This is what we wrote.
Proposed, yeah.
Fantastic. And then,
They're both.
this is the diagnostic report that
Yes,
you
that's
sent,
right.
that you forwarded to us.
That's the
other day.
diagnostic.
Yeah.
This does not
report.
actually
Yep.
include the entire
Right.
So
proposed.
it's-
I'm coming up to speed here, gotta figure out what I wanna read.
That, we did that first. That was the
Yes.
sort of looking at what are the
It's
issues
very
with the
helpful.
zoning bylaw. And it was out of that process that we said, we can't just build on this, we gotta fix this before.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how
Because
that happened.
Then my questions are answered.
I
By
think
saying
so.
that, after reading this, the questions I had were, how you implement this is really part of this, and I see
Yeah.
inconsistencies, so, thank you.
Yeah,
and
that
what's
was-
nice too is that the document now will reflect 2015 once we include the
Yes,
statute, so we
right.
can, you know, get rid of that taboo.
I don't mind
Or you
that.
can put
Push something
2000
through from 4 years ago,
Those are just
you
the
know?
tables that go in the back.
Yeah.
I love these.
The,
Doing
Trying to make it
developments in all
clearer.
kinds of towns.
so as far as, so we're building coalition, we're doing PowerPoint, we're preparing some materials. What's next? I don't actually remember.
I think you want to find out, do you want to do an all boards meeting here? And if you
Okay.
do, then let's get a date plugged in because
Sooner
my
than
life
later,
is going to
sooner.
get nuts after the holidays. Like yours, like any town, right? Town,
Okay.
everybody goes into town meeting mode. So find out and then let's try to plug a date in so that I can make that sacred.
What dates typically are you, days of the week, are you typically?
They're all horrible.
committed?
I need to book a date well in advance. So I'm saying just find out in principle whether it's going to fly here and then
Okay,
I'll figure
sure.
out, I'll give you a couple of
Absolutely.
dates.
I would just say, Concom and us meet on Thursday nights.
Mhm.
There's two. Selectmen meet on Tuesday nights. When does ZBA meet? Do we know?
Wednesdays, yep, third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday. Concom meets first and
But
first and
you,
third
that's
Thursday.
standing, you have a standing conflict though on Thursdays, which Thursdays of the month? is it?
Second and fourth Thursdays, I typically have my own ZBA meetings. I'm a glutton for punishment.
I love that.
On the ZBA in
What
my own
town?
town, Duxbury, and it's crazy.
It's nice.
It's crazy.
We made you get here at 6 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't come from Duxbury.
Well, I will apologize. for
I
that.
was at Devon's at 7:30 this morning. And since I left here, I've been to Foxborough, Worcester, Quincy, and I'm back here, and Halifax, and now I'm here. And I'm driving my car into the ground, but it's fine. It's just terrible, it's fine. So find out, and then let's just get a date locked in. And so just get the schedule locked in, and then we can plan for the meeting.
Okay, well, now, yes, I'll start with Robert, and we'll have a discussion about all boards.
Yeah,
That's good.
and give me a chance to sort of, let's all kind of read this. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know what the hell you were thinking, lady, when you wrote this, but this isn't clear, can you
We've
fix
never met.
this?
Have you figured out that? And I'm not giving you things to do. I'm kind of an out loud thinker. I deal with, I do property management, condominium, residential condominiums. And a lot of it's thinking out loud in order to get to the next step.
Sure.
You know,
Do you have all this?
I will get it.
Okay.
I have additional copies too, I don't have it with me.
I will get it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make one PDF that has the text and all 3 tables in it, so we never have
Oh,
to
so
worry
it's not all
about.
in
Please.
separate, yeah.
I actually did that for Sue.
Is,
Okay.
is there
I
a
think it
chance that,
disappeared.
is there a chance that the, over the multi-use district map could go in there too, the proposed multi-use overlay?
Yeah, let me find it.
I don't wanna say overlay,
The
cause.
map, the
it's-
proposed map is on, it's on the website.
Okay, I just hadn't, you know
Right.
what, I probably
But-
looked at it more than once.
But your question's good, because if everything's in one packet, then people can
Absolutely.
find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and it's a little difficult, you brought up a good point today, that you thought it was a little difficult to find it on the website right now.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Because you choose proposed zoning, and then it comes up with the write-up.
Yes, and then you have to go to the bottom and
If you
click.
tend to lose interest somewhere, you know, with the thing about, you know, the town of Ayer is, blah, 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 and you don't scroll down a little
You're
further,
right.
that's where the documents are.
So my recommendation, just for whatever it's worth, is let's not call this proposed 2016 yet, because
Okay.
give yourselves a couple of weeks to just shoot me some questions. Let's get a groundwork going here. And then we'll say, we can call it proposed 2016,
Okay.
and make sure that the people on the boards have a chance to review it
Mhm.
before we get them all together.
Okay,
But
great.
I wouldn't
Should we
do it
continue
yet.
to leave it on the town website right now?
You can, but just don't call attention to it. I mean,
Okay.
don't put yourself
Sure.
through any more
And I would
paperwork.
like to start generating, as we go through it, talking points about it, so we can start having conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm more than willing to have conversation with people, and,
Mhm.
you know, I got my end of, my street.
Sure.
And we spend all Saturday and Sunday, we try to do chores all day, but we end up standing in the street talking about lots of
Sure,
grids.
of course,
Okay,
right.
And these people have a lot of reach, so,
Super.
moving in a great neighborhood.
And that is a lot of what you have to
The
do,
whole
is
idea.
just talk to
Building.
people.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can work on a PowerPoint, I can work on a handout. If you guys can just confirm whether town
Yeah.
council has a record of having reviewed
I can
this.
do that, yep.
If they say they don't, let's just hold off. Let's do our own internal kind of look at this. Let's send them the tweaked version, not this one, all right?
What would be,
Yeah,
turn
sure.
around with them probably a week or two?
Well, no, they're gonna need a few weeks, but I'd like to get it to them in early January, because, no later than that,
Yeah.
so that they get this before everybody else's zoning starts to hit them,
Okay.
all right?
Okay,
They're gonna need,
Sure.
I did this
Yeah,
with someone at K&P in Northborough in 2009. And they needed about a month, because it was a whole
It wouldn't
rewrite.
surprise me,
It was a
that's
whole
okay.
rewrite. And we got on the phone one day with the town planner and the person from K&P. We were on the phone for like 2 hours. We went through it. And she asked for some changes, and I just sat there and I made them, and it was all very efficient. It was wonderful. They were great to work with. So,
Okay.
but let's just kind of get this.
I'll double check. I think, you know, we did make it to town meeting floor, so I
I think it
think
was
we
Judy
had all those
Cutler
bases
that
covered.
did
Do we have a
the review.
bylaw committee?
Judy was a judge by then.
She was.
Yeah, she was a judge by then.
Do we have a bylaw committee?
No.
Good.
She was with the land court by the time this was going on.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not remembering, who here, but we'll just find out. And sometimes, there's a council who's assigned to your town, but if it's a land use issue, they might bump it to somebody else, so,
All right, great.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's fun to be back.
It's great to
Yeah.
see you. Thank you so
You bring
much.
such energy. I'm so
Oh.
excited.
I love it, I love zoning, I mean, zoning's fun.
It's clear.
The thing that I love about zoning more than anything is going back to a community and seeing something built in the zoning that you wrote. And it's this very wonderful feeling like, oh my God, what they said they wanted, they actually got, and somebody was able to make money. Because if they can't make money, they don't build. I mean, that's just the reality of it. If it's not economic, then the zoning is meaningless. And so to see it all come together is like, whoa, this is awesome.
And just traveling through our roads right now, the need's still there. So what you
Yeah.
wrote is.
It's absolutely, yep. Absolutely. Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna just, I think I'm
I
do
think
this.
you're good to just
Just,
unplug. Actually, we don't have anything else coming up, so.
that is
Wow.
awesome. It's wonderful that you've got.
Yeah, that's nice. That is very nice.
It's funny that you mentioned the end of the year. My night schedule has gotten amazingly complex.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, so lead time helps.
Are you guys real busy lately? I mean, do you have much going on here? How's your life
actually,
as a planning board?
It's starting to quiet down.
Don't say it too loudly.
It is, we just yesterday, just today, I've issued a site plan decision for a large gas station retail fuel station that's
Next
on
to
the other
Jarvis
side of
Ford.
Jarvis Ford.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah, we've got new retail. We have a new supermarket. So yeah, we've been busy this year, but it's quieting down. which
Where's
is
the new
good.
supermarket?
It's
It used to be
place in-
Hannaford.
it
but now
replaced-
it's
Oh, so there's a
Shop and
new-
Save,
Yes,
yeah.
yep.
We were without one for,
Yeah, but-
what?
Yes,
a year
it's
and a half?
they renovated.
About a
It's
year.
good.
Okay.
And what's interesting is you go in, it's all Hannaford's product.
Yes.
Oh, is it really?
Shop and Save is.
Is it a Hannaford sister?
Yeah, somewhere.
Interesting.
Yep.
They just added a beer and wine.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be honest
There
with
was
you,
no
I wish that
wine
they
there.
almost wish that it wasn't there, to be honest with you,
There
because
was
it's,
no wine. We were
it's
there.
less of a selection now when you shop. Because it takes up a whole aisle.
Yeah, I heard that store was gonna close, and I wondered what was gonna go in there,
Yes.
so that's
It
good
was
that
something
there's.
the community really wanted to have it replaced, and
And there's a Family Dollar going across the street from it.
yes,
And,
a
we
dollar,
just okayed-
general Dollar Gen or
a
Family
dollar store. A
whatever.
dollar store.
Dollar store.
Family Dollar.
And then we've recently approved another
Storage, Butler Building style storage.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it has, one electric meter.
Things are good. It's been busy.
All right,
And people are
guys.
starting to, well, developers are starting building in small ones.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Judy, I will be in touch with you, just.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just for
and-
some of my minutes and my notes, I just.
That's
things-
fine. Yeah, we should
make
probably
sure
just
they're
do kind of a recap email, so we're all clear.
Yep.
That's fine.
Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
bye, guys.
Drive
Yes,
carefully.
I hope you have
How are you?
less time on the road home.
Huh?
Hope you don't have as much time on the road home.
This is gonna be heaven now. I actually know I'm just going to one place now. This will be really a nice trip.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Let's see, it would be good if we could, I did not email out the meeting minutes ahead of time. You wrote them.
But you can just put draft on the line, right?
That's fine, I can do that. It was kind of important because we did approve a subdivision, so.
Yeah, may I make only one question?
Yeah.
I think my initials got turned around at the end. It's perfectly fine. I don't actually want to be the guy who did that, so it's okay if you want to leave it like that.
No, I can change it. What
But
page?
TG becomes GT, the last 1, 2, 3. Starts about here on the last page. It's a non-substantive thing. I'm like, who's
I did notice,
TG? I'm looking at the names.
I think you attributed to the Department of Public Works Mark Wenzel instead of Wetzel.
Oh, with the G. Yeah, that might.
I can't read. I can't spell Mark's name correctly, but yeah.
Assessor says an extra S there on page 2. But yeah, yes, if we
That's
could-
how they spell it in Groton.
You know what? I'm typing those up.
Jen,
I'm
thank you
usually
for
doing
doing
other
this.
things too, and I'm so
No, I
sorry.
appreciate it. I
never even
appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this. Really.
So yes, if we want to, I can post them as draft and we can.
I
approve
can
them
make those
as-
changes tonight, and we'll still consider it draft if we want to wait for the rest.
Post
unless
this
you
the way it
need-
is, Jeremy.
Yes, I mean, I
Is it
don't,
gonna
I
hold
don't,
up your
Mark,
side?
I know for sure Mark and Rick aren't gonna offer up too much in the way of comment, I don't
Okay.
believe. So we could vote to approve them if,
Move approval of minutes with corrections, as discussed.
Okay.
you want a second, Jen?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, super. That's easy. Also on the, let's see, committee assignments. Now, Jen, you said your calendar has freed up a little bit. You'll be able to do, we had discussed changing,
Mark to CPC. Just
CPC,
because I knew well, September and October were going to be horrible for me, but and they needed to.
yes, the general, we don't have a whole lot of committees that we're assigned to. CPC, which is, CPC stands for,
Community Preservation Committee.
yes. And you are currently assigned there, and you,
It's Mark actually.
Mark is.
Mark is.
Oh, you changed that.
He agreed.
Okay, great, oh, great.
Well, and I can go back now that my calendar has freed up, but
No, that's fine. I don't think they know that. I don't think
Oh,
Janet
okay.
knows that.
Okay.
Reverend Akins.
Yeah.
So I can let her know, but I assume he didn't go last night.
because I really wanted to jump ships to do the
Comprehensive plan.
comprehensive
Okay, that's,
plan.
then we're fine.
But I do think it needs to be tag teamed by two folks.
The comprehensive.
Comprehensive plan.
What was the? There
It's
was
a
a.
lot.
Is there a third committee? A
Well,
regional.
The
there was a
regional committees in Fitchburg, right now, I'm on them all. I can handle them.
Okay.
I could always.
No, I
sign
mean,
off.
I am very interested in transportation-based
Transportation.
solutions. However, if you think comprehensive plan, I think I see, sitting back from where I am, comprehensive plan is something that's like right in front of us and should be taken care of.
Yes.
I really am now 2 to 3 nights a week like 2 3/4 nights a week, I'm gone. I leave town 7 in the morning.
Okay,
I'm not back in time for a meeting in the evening.
okay.
Right.
So it'd be very
Understood.
hard for me to take that, and that's gonna happen probably through March,
Through March. Okay.
through February or March. I'll do my best, but this is when condo associations do this stuff,
Okay,
January 1st.
Right.
But if you wanted to help with the comprehensive plan, if that works for, I'm
That
happy.
your comprehensive plan is going to take a while, so that's good to know. But you
but
were
we're
remaining-
all welcome, right? Or does,
We were all
what if there was a quorum of the planning board at a comprehensive, just by chance, because it was interesting topics? Would we have to post, even though we're not taking action on a planning board item?
yeah, that's a question for Robert
It's by
Pompion
chance,
and
you
town
know?
council.
Do you go to comprehensive plan meetings?
Yes.
Then I will stay away. Well, you can ask the town administrator if you want, but
Yes, and
or if you can't make it, let me know.
absolutely, that's
Because
what.
I have a true general personal interest in that.
Mhm.
Anyway,
And yes, and the meeting that we just had recently, right now, the process is, they're just shooting ideas out in the air. So it really hasn't,
Seems to be
can-
Tuesday evenings though, right?
yes, as far as it is going to
How
be.
about,
it's
how are
Tuesday.
Tuesdays for you? And they're 6 o'clock because
That's okay.
I just think it's
I like
7
6
o'clock and
o'clock.
I was already
6 o'clock's
rotten on
good.
the
I like
rush.
6 o'clock. Are they Tuesday nights? What week typically?
Fourth
The fourth Tuesday?
What is it?
The fourth Tuesday of the month, I believe, is pretty much open for me.
Okay,
I'll
Alright,
find
so
out.
why don't we look
That's
at,
good
where
Yeah.
you email both him and
that'd be great.
You see.
Yeah, we can do that.
I, who's up for it?
Sure.
I'm going to have difficulty. I have to take a look at it. I mean, it's so wild. Bonnie and I, we got to do calendars. It's like, yeah, we're jammed through January with stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because of the way it works.
So I will go back to CPC.
Okay, that's good, because we really, they have difficulty making quorum with CPC, that's
Okay.
one of the issues.
Okay.
And also, it's important because they spend money, and so it's important that our voice be.
Okay, I will. Now that my schedule's freed up again.
They're a grant organization, basically. CBC. How are they funded? They're funded through our taxes,
Yes, exactly.
and so it becomes grant money for certain things going
Yes.
on. Because I think I saw the call for.
It's an important.
It is
and I'll-
important.
Yeah,
That we discussed it tonight.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I.
Just
pretty sure-
because if
And-
Jeff's on board with relieving me
Yeah.
occasionally with the comments.
Let's just figure out what the dates are.
Right.
I'd be happy to do
Okay,
it.
okay, that's great, that's great. And I can handle the Fitchburg commitments for now. All right? That's
Okay.
the Metropolitan Planning Organization, that's MRPC, and that's also the transportation.
Yeah. Over time, I'm going to get more and more interested in transportation. There's a group of folks that I spend time with socially who are very interested in bringing bicycle tourism into Massachusetts.
Mhm.
They're, and I said to somebody, I live in Ayer, the gateway for biking. I mean, seriously, we are centrally located for a lot of different, and just look at our streets.
Yeah,
Our streets are marked all over
yeah.
with bike riding blazes. So it's
Good to know.
yeah, it's an incredible economic engine, believe it or not.
Okay, great. So that's committee assignments. Staff support, I think everybody's up to speed with that. Didn't really work out last time we met. I wasn't here, but we reaffirmed our request for a warrant article for a 19-hour person.
And I think we should reaffirm tonight that when budget requests come out, that we,
Yeah, the budget process is
Authorize
about
you
to
to do it
begin.
again.
Yes. Actually, it's a good idea to reaffirm. This board has in the past requested a full-time planner. I think we have recently had discussions. I think that would be a nice thing to have as a full-time planner for the town, and I don't think anyone on this board has disagreed. Right now, I talked to Robert Pompion. His call it the Cadillac version. Like we said, the economic development director has resigned. That position is vacant. So there's a ongoing discussion of what will go to town meeting next year for annual town meeting. Will it be? There is an acknowledgement that we need some sort of planning expertise in the town, and that we need some sort of reorganization. Call it the land use department.
That was the discussion we were having.
Right. That
Last couple of months,
includes building, conservation commission, planning, economic development.
A coordinated approach.
Right, and what that looks like is in play now, it's in discussions.
Good.
And I've been assured that all
as the chair of the planning board, I'll be involved in those discussions. So, and the budget preparation process is about to begin, so those discussions should
So
be
I
happening
think
soon.
tonight we should at least authorize the chair to at least begin the workshop process, filling out the worksheet.
As far
coming
as
back
our
with-
budget for next year.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Is that a motion?
yeah.
Second.
Thank you, yeah,
All in favor, aye.
yeah.
Right.
That's great. And you can put that in the minutes and then,
Yeah.
Let's
then
let's
that
give,
gives
let's
me
give,
some.
what else can we give Jeremy to do in the next couple of weeks? Come on.
Well, just with
It-
Christmas
it's-
coming and
No,
everything else,
absolutely.
you know, I think it's just reaffirming what we've already voted consistently the
Right.
last two, so we
Absolutely.
authorize you for the workshop.
You know,
the
It's very
workshop,
helpful when I
budget
sit
workshop.
down with Robert, I can say, the board asked me to do.
In your experience, are there many, 12 meetings a year of the planning board? How many have an agenda similar to this? We got lucky tonight, being able to focus on the zoning bylaw
Yeah.
and not have anything in front of us.
I agree.
With a, I
It's
mean,
very nice.
I love having people around, but this is kind of nice to be able to do some planning.
It absolutely is.
So- Is this a rare occurrence?
You know, as it approaches holidays, there are occasions where we actually cancel a meeting, when there's nothing on the agenda at all. But, and we always have the ability to call an additional meeting if we wanted to have a special session like
I
this.
understand.
You know, I've been here, I was elected in 2011. We've had a number of these sessions where we can have a discussion session. This year's been particularly busy, which is good for the town. We've been really had busy agendas.
Development's up everywhere in the state.
Yeah.
This is, some economic news came out, new home starts are up, new condo starts are way up nationwide.
Not interesting.
I heard a number today, I don't believe, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's incredible. And,
Interesting.
yeah.
We did, last month, you did have a discussion with the developer for Emily's Way, Matt
Yeah.
Fields, who, was he here? He was here.
He was here.
Yes.
He was here.
Yeah, he was a walk on,
He actually made an appointment, Robert Pomprion, the Economic Development Office, put together a meeting with various departments, and he didn't show up. So it's been rescheduled, but he is moving forward. He would like to come to a friendly agreement with the town where he can increase his density in
Yeah.
exchange for.
I'm trying to figure out exactly where that's going to lead the street. It's funny, as I drive by it a couple times a day, and I was riding by it the other night, and I mentioned it to a neighbor. I said,
It was funny.
he said, there's a development going in there. I said, how many units? It's 4 to 7. He goes, what? How are they going to get there? I said, oh, we're putting in the ski lift for him. This is a taxpayer. He did not think it was funny. But yeah, I can't picture where it's going in yet, just yet. So, I was gonna say, have you all been up to see the water tower
No.
up behind you?
I haven't been up there. I saw pictures but when they were putting out the foundation.
Oh, I've been. We actually went for a ride and rode up there, and excuse me, it looked like a great hill to ride up. And now it's the walls are up complete. I think the the roof is probably on by now. I'm guessing I haven't been up there. I'll probably go up there on Sunday.
Right.
At some point, access will probably be curtailed, but it's under construction.
Okay, yes, yep.
But it's fascinating to go up there. Great view of
Yeah.
Monadnock,
That's a good
back
idea.
Monadnock, and
Really?
when the leaves come off, I'll bet you'll be able to see what you said.
Oh, wow, how about that? All right, great. That's good to know. We discussed staff, so I asked for 19 hours. They came up with some funding for someone for 5 hours. They cut it back to 4 because 5 was going to put our part-time people just over the point where they need benefits.
Yeah.
So we cut back to 4. The note was put out to union members. It has to be a union member who takes these additional 4 hours. The notice expires tomorrow, and I'm told there's at least one person interested. So we should have, next week I'll be able to sit down with somebody. I hope to, and this is something we can come to agreement on, my hope is to staff them 2 days a week, maybe Tuesday, Thursday. I wanted to have the person in the office when the building office is also staffed. So if there's an issue with Gabe about something planning related, and he says, well, you have to talk to the planning department, then it's convenient for applicants to go right to the planning department. That's my goal.
Yep.
And I don't think that's not
Are you
controversial.
still planning to follow through on action items and decisions, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna have to do that. 4 hours is 4 hours. So I'm gonna have to continue doing what I've been doing. Hopefully I can get the office a little bit organized, make sure that we're notifying everyone we need to notify, and
Do we have a timestamp in our office so that when things are,
we have a
that
date on a time. Yeah, we
No,
have.
because we do by right have the right to review for completeness, and then once it's reviewed and determined to be complete, turn it into the town clerk to somewhat stop.
I see what you mean, and absolutely, that's something.
When it comes to subdivisions
and
and
we
site
haven't,
plans, we have.
you're absolutely right. We
They
haven't
should
run
not be
into that
filing with the
problem.
town clerk, they need to file with our board.
That's
Timestamp it,
true.
Schedule a hearing, or schedule a meeting date, and
Well, you
vote to
get-
schedule a
Well,
hearing.
you finally
We
get
stop-
office help, and look what you're gonna do.
No, but we stop the clock for 60 days,
Excuse me, yeah.
so no more things go through by default, or constructive
Right,
approval, excuse me.
right, and that's it's something to think about, absolutely. But we should, hopefully next week, we'll have somebody, an administrative person. 4 hours, it's better than nothing, to help out with the office.
When you say the office needs to be organized, is that something that we can do?
Sure,
Out of time.
if we have it's not a huge mess, but yes, it might take a couple hours on a Saturday just to look at,
If we
I
can
just,
do
I have
it.
a pile of filing.
Pile of paperwork from
Right.
last month.
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
even imagine how you were able to
And
decipher
and
what-
again, right, it's, keeping up with the filing has not been my number one priority. So it's just to make sure that, especially this year's files match the detail of our past files, and they're labeled. And it's easy for people to find for our future board.
And you have the advantage of having done the work. I haven't done, if you want help, let me know. I'll dig through them. It may take longer than a couple hours, they'll ask a lot of questions, but I promise to remember as much as I can.
Right, and it's not, we aren't a huge town. It's not a lot of material, but it's there's a little bit of that.
No, but understanding the process is helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's staff support. The only other thing now, I've been talking to, and this would be helpful if we had from Andy and especially Rick Roper. We're talking to Mark Wetzel, our DPW superintendent, about our subdivision regulations. Now, our subdivision regulations are regulations that are set by this board. They don't have to be approved by town meeting. They are, I don't have them in a digital format at all.
Mhm.
They are photocopied and scanned, and there's essentially a picture on the internet. So at the very least, I need to have them not codified, but typed into Word.
How long is it?
They
It's
are,
perfect
for an administrative person's
no, MR.
MRPC,
It comes right off
yes.
the cherry sheet every year. We allot a certain amount of time for planning.
Yes,
resources.
MRPC. And then on top of that,
It's only like
I think our
25
DPW
pages. I
yeah,
think.
it's not very long.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
prefer to have.
When I was in high school, that would scare me. Nowadays, it wouldn't scare me.
Right.
25 doesn't scare me.
Right. But I think our DPW director has some ideas of some changes he'd like to see. It's not like we have a lot of subdivisions pending in this town but we do have the Emily's Ways. We do have the new bylaw that makes it a little bit more flexible for open space or cluster development. We do have, got a huge development that should be coming in the future. I don't know how quickly, down on Pleasant Street. But otherwise, the DPW director would like to see some changes in the subdivision regulations. I'm open to discussing that with him. So I just wanted it,
He's looking for basic,
I don't know exactly what he's looking for, but he has a lot of key
imagine water, stormwater, sewage,
stormwater, yes,
utilities,
absolutely.
sewage, stuff like
And
that.
we do, the subdivisions that we do approve, we seem to often have the same waivers. When we have a subdivision regulation that calls for sidewalks on both sides, we always waive it, so you only have them on one side.
Mhm.
Little tweaks like that, I
Yep.
think, are reasonable.
And how does the subdivision, I haven't looked at it, play with open space?
Again, it doesn't really. The subdivision regulations don't. We rely on the bylaw,
Okay.
and it's just it's not very modern the way our subdivision regulations read.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to the DPW director about that, and in a future meeting we'll I don't know, we have some money to spend if we need to ask MRPC to help.
Yeah,
or
I just
even-
don't think MRPC's done, we haven't asked a lot of them.
Mhm.
So I think this is a perfect project for them to do. And then at that point, I think what we should do is release it into the hands of town council so that any future updates, they're responsible, once they're passed, to recodify and update the town clerk,
Okay,
and it gets updated to the, it's instantaneous.
Sure.
you know.
okay.
Same thing with, this, hopefully it passes at our special town meeting.
Yes.
That
Zoning bylaw.
it's turned over to town council, and it's always there, we have it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's every time Attorney General approves, it's up to the town council to send us back our recodified
Okay, yes, absolutely.
with updates.
So I'm going to talk to the DPW director about that. I know the last time we had some minor revisions to the subdivision regulations was just before I was first
You're hoping
elected,
to
just
get-
after you left.
You're hoping to get it updated, though, in a format that's changeable?
Yes, absolutely.
Before the changes come along?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that when we have our public hearing, we're handing out a nice...
Not a modern copy of a mimeograph.
Well, you know, he's,
No,
when he
I-
says it's copied and
The
copied
pages
and
are
copied,
crooked.
yeah, you gotta turn like this online.
Okay, Chris, I actually have, we pull stuff off the registry all the time, and I've had some pretty good luck. OCR, with working with some OCR
Is that funny?
contractors I have. No,
Well, the technology's pretty good.
these were multi-copy typed back in 1971, and that's what's at the registry, and we gotta deal with it. And we've shipped them overseas and had them done, and bring them back.
Huh.
Language is a barrier, you gotta read them again, but, you know.
It's interesting. All right, I think that's all I have. I don't have any bills, announcements, meeting minutes we handled, so that's it. All right, do
And
we have anything else?
December, whatever it is.
Our
So
next,
do you need a vote to ask MRPC to do it, or do we have to wait till the next fiscal year for spending on that? I don't know what's going on.
you know what, let me, I just, I don't think we
Because
need a
if the
vote.
money's there, we can do it real quick.
Let me just think about that a little bit more before I.
I just hate to see us reach into our own.
Yes, I don't, if we don't have to spend our own money, then we will. Absolutely. And our next meeting is going to be,
It's December 3rd, if this calendar is correct.
yes.
And I can tell you now, I know we're at a.
You know what, I actually have a conflict on December 3rd.
And I have,
family obligation.
okay.
But I'm free any other Thursday.
Let's,
Yeah, the 3rd is fine for me, but I'm happy to.
well, for
I'm
now,
happy to
we're
accommodate whatever
going
we
to
need to
stay
do.
at our regular scheduled meeting. Often the December meeting is actually canceled because there's nothing. I'm going to wait to see what
Okay.
kind of applications come in.
Yep.
And it makes my life easier.
Okay, I can provide like a memo update of any discussions and changes with Judy and what's been done.
Yeah,
in the
that'd be great.
meantime, what's been
Yeah.
sent out.
I hope I wasn't overstepping my bounds, by the way, with Judy here.
Not at
Oh,
all.
no.
But
That's
it's just
exactly
like,
what she
I mean,
loves and
she mentioned the Cushing Overlay District. If she worked on that in Belmont, it was a huge challenge. And Belmont has, Belmont's a very attractive town for people who live in Cambridge and get married and have children and don't want to move very far. And they come to Belmont, going to solve all the problems of the world. And it's a very interesting experience to try and bring them up to speed. When the bylaw committee chair stands up, and he's been doing it for, Mr. Hyman's been doing this since I was a small child. Okay? The bylaw committee has reviewed the proposed bylaw for substantial changes. We have seen none and we approve it unanimously, and he sits down. And no one believes that. I mean, it's really a fascinating experience at that point. And so,
No, that's fine,
there's
yes.
ways to help, and it's not hiding anything, it's just generate the conversation,
yeah.
and
Absolutely. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
seconded.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Great.